The Patura Pit Stop is here for another session, and this session is going to be one that hits close to home. Weeds, weed problems. We all have them. We don't always want to talk about them, but I want to talk about them a little bit more in depth with Jeanette Gaultier of BASF, who is the one of two Manitoba technical specialists. So, 2023 was a unique year. There was challenges. One of those challenges that we saw with our customers was weeds.
Definitely.
What did you see in the field? And most importantly, where I want to go with this, how can pre-emergent weed control play a role in the crop year of 24?
That's a good question. Pre-emergents are awesome. They offer us a lot of things that we don't, or that help our in-crop. They set us up really well. So often we get different modes of action, help with resistance management. We've got cool season weeds here. It's nice to get the jump on them, really set up our in-crop treatment, and then just give us some flexibility. So it's really nice. But we definitely need to look at it from a Manitoba perspective. We see lots of information from other places, and they're talking about residuals and the different products that we might not necessarily have here. So looking at the made in Manitoba or the Western type products that are really a fit here, it's probably the best way to go. And these are a fit. I think you can look across the spectrum, and there's definitely products that work better in our conditions. Some of them do need water for activation, and last year was challenging with that.
Yeah.
But there are other products that do provide burn off and require less moisture.
Sure. Yeah, I think the one thing that's really important, like we saw that last year a lot, is nothing was growing when we were seeding because we were so dry. But then when we did start to get that rain, that thunderstorm lottery, all of a sudden everything grew at once. And I think I noticed a big difference with those soil residual pre-emergents kicking in late versus if you didn't have them in some of your more challenging crops like your peas or your non-GMO soybeans or your sunflowers kind of thing.
I like a good burn off. Again, our cool season weeds, where you can fit it, even your more competitive crops, depending on the field if you have weeds, but you nailed it. If you're growing peas, if you're growing IP soybeans, something like dry beans, you need sunflowers, you're absolutely right. You need to start these off. They're a little bit less competitive at the beginning. We really need to set up, you have less options in crop. So let's do that. And you nailed a good question. One of the big questions that comes up in a dry year is there even a value to applying pre-emergent with residual? And the answer is yes. A lot of them do require that rain for activation, but you don't necessarily need it right away. I mean, that's the best case scenario, is that you apply it and you get that activating rain. But if you don't, it's still going to activate when you do get the rain, and then you are going to get a flush of weeds. So it's still going to be there in the soil. It's nice to get a rain within the first 2 weeks after application, but you will get activation and you will see results.
The other thing you touched on at the very beginning, which kind of perked my ear, which was different modes of action. In Manitoba, you go to any speaker session from now until springtime, and we're going to hear about herbicide-resistant weeds. And pre-emergence, bringing those different groups, will most likely be a game changer in managing those long-term herbicide-resistant weeds, from what I see. And I guess you probably have those conversations on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely, and BASF is a big Group 2 company, obviously, and we do have our challenges, just like everybody else, with resistance.
But the important thing is not to lose those Group 2s.
Exactly, and if you do already have resistant weeds, koch is a big one we talk about. Bringing in some of those Group 14s, those Group 15s, it's a place where you can really change up your modes of action and bring something new to your herbicide rotation.
You have the opportunity to speak to a lot of reps across Manitoba and a lot of farms across Manitoba. And quite often springtime is busy, and getting that pre-emergent done in a timely manner is very challenging. Is there anything you can think of that can maybe change the mindset of a producer as to how they have to set up their operation to make sure that pre-emergent gets done?
Yeah, you nailed it. Man, you're on this morning. You're good at this. that is the number one reason people will say that they don't apply a pre-emergent is because they're busy. We have a really short window for seeding. They don't want to stop the drill. So I think it really does come down to planning.
Yeah.
So don't leave this. If you know, maybe prioritize certain fields. It doesn't have to be every acre, right? But you mentioned your IP soybeans, your peas. Make sure you prioritize those fields that are a little bit more weedy, maybe the crops that need it. And if it's not possible, I would, with your own sprayer, if you don't have the manpower, talk to your retail, like someone who can do some custom app. It's really worth it, I think.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, especially in all those crops, we know the biggest yield gets robbed so early in that crop's life.
It does.
Yeah. Any other last thoughts on pre-emergent herbicides that you think are important to share, lessons of last year for next year?
Yeah, I do. I was going to say there's lots of options out there, things that fit across different farms. I mean, we do have different tillage regimes here.
Yes.
And we definitely see the benefit of these products across a lot of different conditions, no-till to some tillage. So I would say if you've tried it, you probably see the benefit. If you haven't, give it a whirl, split a field. I guarantee.
Find a check strip. That's
GPS
I know sprayers don't miss much more anymore, but that's great. Well, thanks for your time and sharing that, and look forward to hearing how your pre-emergent this upcoming year adds value to your farm. But before we shut things off, I've got 3 rapid fire questions for you.
I'm ready.
Number 1, what are you most excited for in the future of the ag industry?
I would have to say tech. And I'm a technical specialist, but I have to admit I'm not very techy when it comes to whatever's the latest and greatest. But I do feel like that's where the opportunity is. I mean, we're not getting a lot of new modes of action, not like we used to.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come down to some of those cool tech on the way that we apply things, and maybe looking at some new genetic, the way that we apply products that are maybe not typical chemistry.
Sure.
That's where I think we're going.
Okay, right on. Next, rapid fire, 1 or 2 word answers. Let's see if you can do this. 1 or 2 word answers.
Quit chatting
What
so much.
color of machinery has piqued your interest at Ag Days this year?
I'm colorblind.
Oh, wow. What a politically correct answer. And number 3, final question. What skill set, Jeanette, have you found to be the most valuable to make you successful at your job?
Listening.
There you have it. Jeanette Gaultier, Senior Technical Specialist with BASF. She's ready to listen. And if you have any other further questions about pre-emergent word control, reach out to us or Jeanette.
Thanks, Laird.
Thank you.